You finally got your hands on this amazing tool that everybody keeps talking about. The almighty airbrush. It looks capable, it looks precise, and it promises to take your painting skills to the next level. And then the fun begins. And immediately you run into the first struggle that all of us had to deal with, which is how do you make it work properly? How do you keep it clean? And why does it feel like every time you're getting into the flow, you have to stop and deal with maintenance? Now, I don't want to waste your time with theory or overly complicated methods. I want to give you a system that is efficient, repeatable, and fast. Because the goal here is not just to clean your airbrush. The goal is to make cleaning so quick and so automatic that it no longer interrupts your workflow. In fact, I will argue that there is great pleasure in maintaining, cleaning, and taking care of your airbrush. And I'm going to help you turn this unavoidable task into a pleasant and rewarding experience. Let's begin, shall we? The first thing we need to talk about is your setup. And the reason why is because your setup dictates your efficiency. What you want on your desk is something minimal, controlled, and easy to manage. Something that contains your process and removes unnecessary movement. You need a dedicated space where your airbrush is always ready, where your cleaning happens and where any mess is contained. I call this the cleaning station. There are many ways to build one, all valid for sure, but this is mine, and it's the method that I've found to be the most effective. I start with a small plastic food tray, something simple that you can find in any grocery store. Inside the tray, I place a universal spray out pot, the type that allows you to spray directly into it while filtering the air and capturing the liquid. That pot will take about half of the space. The other half of the tray is covered with paper towel. This becomes your dumping area for water or cleaner during the cleaning process. Instead of spraying everything into the air or risking splashes, you have a controlled surface that absorbs the liquid immediately. You will also need a universal airbrush holder. And there are two reasons why you want one in this setup. First, you need a solid place where you can store your airbrush temporarily when you're not using it, whether it's one airbrush or multiple. But the second reason is the most important one to me. The type of universal airbrush holder that I like comes with a metal clip that allows you to attach the spray out pot directly to it. What I do is I clip the pot onto the holder and position the tray underneath, effectively trapping everything in place. This way, the tray and the pot don't move, they stay secured to the desk, and your entire cleaning station becomes stable and controlled. Then I take it one step further. I use a disposable cardboard box, large enough to enclose the tray, and I cut it so I can access it from the front or the side. The remaining walls stay intact, and they act as a barrier. Whenever you spray water or cleaner, those walls contain the overspray and protect your desk and your surroundings. This turns a simple setup into a controlled, secure cleaning environment. Now that the station is ready, let's talk about tools. Everything I'm mentioning is widely available, and if you want to support the channel, I'll leave the links below, but you can find this anywhere. First, spray bottles. These are essential because they allow you to quickly flush out the majority of the paint inside the cup. When you spray directly into the cup, the force of the water breaks up the paint and it lifts it off the surface, which is much faster than trying to wipe it manually. Second, dropper bottles with needle tips. I use this for everything: cleaner, distilled water, thinner, retarder, flow improver. The advantage here is precision. You can control how much liquid you are adding drop by drop. And when I talk about ratios, I always give you a reliable starting point. Every paint behaves differently, but having a consistent baseline allows you to get predictable results and then refine from there. Then we have Q-tips. These are extremely useful for targeting cleaning. When paint builds up in specific areas, especially around the cap or the needle, a Q-tip with cleaner or alcohol allows you to apply pressure exactly where you need it without affecting the rest of the airbrush. Next is a washing brush, the nylon kind. These are critical because they can reach areas that Q-tips cannot. The bottom of the cup, the transition areas and the internal channels all benefit from the flexibility and reach of these brushes. This is where a lot of hidden residue tends to accumulate, and if you don't remove it, it will eventually affect performance. Then we have water, and I strongly recommend using distilled water. Tap water contains minerals and impurities that over time can leave residue inside and outside your airbrush and affect the finish of the chrome. Distilled water eliminates that risk and keeps everything consistent. For cleaner, most brands are very similar, whether it's Iwata, Pache or Master Airbrush. Personally, I prefer Badger Cleaner because it's slightly stronger and formulated to be sprayed through the airbrush, which makes it very effective for breaking down acrylic paints. And finally, isopropyl alcohol. This is not something you need for every cleaning, but when you encounter stubborn paint, especially heavily pigmented acrylics or primers, alcohol will break it down much faster than standard cleaner. Now let's go through the actual process for quick cleaning between color changes. And before we go through the entire process, you may be wondering, what is this beauty I'm showcasing in this video? Well, let me introduce you to the RICHPEN 222B Phoenix. The pinnacle of Japanese precision, finesse, identity. There is a new sheriff in town, and it could be yours. Just follow the link in the description below. Support the channel on Patreon, and for a limited time, get 20% off this ultimate micro detail airbrush. Now let's go through the actual process for quick cleaning between color changes. You have just finished spraying, and there is still paint inside the cup. The first step is to remove the bulk of that paint as quickly as possible. You do not want that paint to dry inside the cup. Hold the airbrush over your tray, above the paper towel, and use your spray bottle to spray directly into the cup. The pressure from the water will dislodge and dilute most of the paint immediately, typically removing around 90% of it just in a few seconds. Once that's done, empty the cup by spraying the remaining water into the pot, and then add a small amount of airbrush cleaner using your dropper bottle. At this point, before doing anything else, you perform a backflush. This is a key technique. By covering the nozzle and gently spraying air, you force the cleaner back into the cup. This creates turbulence inside the airbrush and pushes cleaner into the internal channels between the nozzle and the cup. This area is critical because it's one of the most common places for paint to accumulate, and it cannot be reached directly with tools without taking apart the airbrush. Backflushing ensures that this hidden section is properly cleaned. After backflushing, with the cleaner still inside the cup, take your nylon washing brush and scrub the interior. Focus on the bottom of the cup and any areas where paint tends to collect. This mechanical action helps remove any remaining residue that the liquid alone cannot fully break down. Then spray the cleaner through the airbrush into the pot. This clears out the needle, the nozzle and the front assembly, ensuring that any loosened paint is fully expelled. Finally, rinse the cup with distilled water and spray it through. This removes any remaining cleaner and leaves the airbrush ready for the next color. And that's the entire process. Now let me show it to you from beginning to the end without interruption, to give you a realistic idea of what the process looks like. Now, there are situations where this process needs to be adjusted. Certain paints, especially primers like black or white primers, are more resistant and tend to cling to surfaces. When you encounter this, you can replace the cleaner with isopropyl alcohol and follow the same steps. The alcohol will break down those pigments more aggressively and reduce the amount of effort required. In addition, after working with heavier paints, it's a good practice to occasionally remove the needle. Over time, paint can build up along its surface. And even if the airbrush appears to be functioning normally, by taking a Q-tip with a small amount of isopropyl alcohol and gently cleaning the needle, you remove the buildup and restore optimal performance. Once cleaned, the needle can be reinserted and you can continue working without interruption. It's simple, it's efficient, and most importantly, it's repeatable. Once you build this into your workflow, cleaning stops being a disruption and becomes a seamless part of the process. And if you enjoyed this video, leave it a like and subscribe. And join me in the pursuit to become the fastest airbrush slinger in the West.